Hello and welcome to this week's acting vlog named Back to the Human. This one was good. It was run by Shanta, and we kind of started off with discussing how we came to find our animals, and whether we just looked at our script or whether we looked at the complete play. And it was interesting how different people had different ways of finding their animal, or different approaches, I guess, and looked out for different things. And yeah, like mine, I kind of noticed came from the whole play, but also in the scene. So having read the scene at first only, I got a feel of the character brief was very important, that added to it. And then having read the complete play, I then went through different animals that I felt represented Tristan's characteristics, the character's characteristics, and which kind of came first to mind. And so I had monkey for the playful cheekiness, and dingo for the traveling and things like that, and the mating, and so on. And one of them was, so I had a list of animals that I landed on, but then the peacock kind of just stood out then through looking at documentaries, and kind of thinking continuously between the two, and then the character and the animal, and then also just trying it out, then giving it a whirl and seeing what fits right, what feels right. And yeah, anyway, so we then did a meditation to bring us into the character and into the animal in the body. And that basically started off with lying on the floor and working up our way through, basically toes all the way up to the head, breathing into each part, letting the stress go into the ground. And then we introduced the animal. So it was, how would the animal lay, how would the animal be sleeping, and then the animal wakes up. And so we woke up 100% as the animal. And throughout the thing actually moved around as the animal reacted to danger, looking for food, you know, growled like the animal or made noise like the animal, and then slowly went back from 100% animal, 80% animal, 20% the character, 60%, 40%, 50, 40, 60, until there's only a 20 or 10% of the animal left, and looking at what essence remains that you can then bring into the character. Which that bit, so I understand the exercise, and it was interesting. I don't know if I maybe just that evening was I just didn't feel fully in it, not fully connected, because I, from previous vlogs as well, I'd said that I had this idea of if you play the elephant, you're gonna walk like an elephant, and then for me, I realized that's not what that is. It's more about finding the essence of the animal. And then doing this exercise again, though, it put me in my head, and put me into, I am now playing the animal. And I felt a disconnect. I felt now I'm just walking around like a peacock. The bit of bringing it then back to the character, I get, and I think that's probably now in hindsight, it's basically just another approach to realign you with the animal and the essence, and maybe you find another part of that. And it definitely is, I guess, good to help you transition from, you've come from the outside world, you're in the space now, do a meditation, and then getting into character, getting into animal is a stage of that, and then moving over. And yeah, so it was interesting. I feel I didn't connect to that essence as well as when I watched my documentaries and really looked at the essences, the behavior and things like that by myself, than moving in a room with other people doing that. But yeah, maybe that was just me in that moment. Then we played the scenes, and Shanta kind of like brought it back to the character and the objectives. So where we had previously worked towards the animal, finding the essence in the animal, this was again back onto the character. Well, what are you trying to achieve? What are your stakes? What do you have to lose? And what is the best outcome, the worst outcome? And that was interesting because but previously with just the animal and thinking of the essence, I felt free. And then when we reintroduced like objectives like that, I felt it kind of like put me back into my head, and I was back like to like, ooh, now I must achieve this. And yeah, I noticed like I got out of breath. My breath wasn't connecting. I felt like that my discovery and my exploration was inhibited or dropped away. And yeah, like I kind of like, for me then, what I did or what felt was working was really just focusing on my co-actress and listening. Like that was just something where I was like, okay, I got to come back to this, and that for me was something where everything else I could just put aside and then play off that. Like, what are you giving me? And I felt that kind of like that worked, and it again gave made way for a bit of discovery, and opened up some possibilities. And what I liked was Shanta then introduced like obstacle and an objective for my co-actress, being, we discussed our characters and what we want from the other. And hers was, she gave her the objective, get him to agree with you. That's your objective, get him to agree. Whereas me, she gave a bit more a blurred one, saying find something you want to get out of her or achieve from her, a reaction, and hang on to that. Like really, really do whatever you can to get that, and if you get it, hold on to it. And so I just thought of something in the moment, like she's very serious and she wants to like, justify everything, and I'm more the happy, playful. So I was referring back to my character description, was for me to get a smile out of her, and so I kind of like played around, was silly, and she was just so serious in it and barely smiled. And I noticed I kind of like then forgot about it because I was like, well, that's not working. I'm just going to focus on her. And then some point during the scene, then she actually did smile, and it was then for me like, oh wow, there it is, cool. And that kind of like gave me a new boost, and I then drove through and then really hung on to that, and it kind of like changed me. And we actually ended up in a really nice intimate moment in the end again, where it wasn't anything like we had before, but it was more she'd been sitting, and then I kind of like touched her knee slightly, and she then got up and walked away. And so it was again like a moment of connection there, which was really, really nice. And then I had the opportunity to do it twice, thanks to my dear friend and actor Andreas Pichulik not being available. So I got to do the scene again with his co-actress, which was awesome because two different people will do the scene differently. Not no matter what, but they'll just do it differently, and that was so cool because the two actresses are quite different, and they have different approaches, and it was very enjoyable. Like, and I myself as well was like, you know what, I'm going to try something different, and I actually realized something as well, because the whole exercise of bringing it back more into the character away from the animal. I kind of like looked at the script again, and I found something about the part where do you believe in God, and no, that's fine, just because I believe in God. I so far had kind of like just played with it as Tristan myself, because I'm not saying atheist, but I don't I believe in something, but I'm not like a churchgoer, I'll say. And so I thought, oh well, what if like that actually did really mean something to me, and I was serious about it? How would that be? And so I ruffled my hair, and I changed my outside as well, and put glasses on, and and the scene got so much more um, not serious, but I'm looking for the word. It got somber, more somber, and when she said that bit, like you believe in God, like that, it was as if it really hit something. Like that's my true belief, and you're questioning that, and yeah, like it really was cool because it just gave like another in, and then the excitement out of her reaction, and like a giddiness, I guess, instead of like an overconfidence that I'd had before, like from the other characters. And yeah, so and then we did another bit where Shanta got my other co-actress to kind of like stand behind me, and she would like physically actually determine when I should get excited and when I should like pull it in. And so with like the outside factor to determining my reaction, it was actually really cool because I would have like played certain points differently, or I felt differently to play points differently, and and so like one moment I'd be like, she'd be pushing my back of my head up, and I'd be like getting really excited, and like I was on a roll, and she like pulled back, and so I'd have to like pull it in again and just pull back, and that was really good as well because the co-actress as well was then like not knowing what happened, and it keeps you on your feet, and it was just great for me. I don't know, I felt it was really cool just to like um, give into that, and just like it's a bit like being a puppet and being steered, and so I kind of like just I'm the line deliverer, and let that inform me, but then someone else decides like now amp up the speed and pull it back. So yeah, it was some really cool things to play with, and obviously that was like one of the main things for the class was just different things, different approaches. One co-actress again who did her scene with a cigarette, um, again played it as a prop. She didn't know how to use, and Shanta as well pointed out like if someone gives you feedback, and that specific feedback, there is no excuse. Like you have got to make it work, and that is gold for you, and learn how to then use that, and you can't come back the next time and then still not get it because you're not doing the work. You're not. It doesn't mean enough to you to say, well, okay, I'm going to master this, and that was interesting to see. And yeah, it was a cool class, different class, and just again great to play. So bring it into practicality. I then again I had actually my last shoot on my short film that I did, and it was interesting because we played a scene that was quite a defining moment for my character, and I know that previously I'd always been like, I gotta now bring gravitas and sadness and everything, and I kind of like just let all that away and thought, it doesn't matter whatever it's going to be, what am I trying to say here, and where am I, and thinking about what happened. I kind of like did that, and I felt like the connection was so much stronger, and yeah, I hope it translates on screen. But I think we had something really good, like when you find the gold, I feel that was like a gold moment, and you feel it, like in that moment you're like, yeah, I've connected to that truth of the character. And then I had an audition for a feature film, which I used preparation for, and I found an animal. I found a pigeon for a World War One sergeant, which I really enjoyed, and kind of like bringing that into that. And the audition I feel went well. Had a panel of like 6 to 7 people, and just did it. Like it's prepare extensively and then just let it all go and just play. And I wanted to make a comment because I felt nervous on the way there, and I was, thinking like, hey, what is it? Why do we always get nervous? Like, I, I've prepared for this. I've worked hard for this audition, and it's not about, oh, please approve of me and give me a role. It's about, look at this preparation that I've done. This means something to me, and I've worked on this. Let me show you, what I've found, and my little insight into a character that you've written. And it's it's not about saying like be honored that I'm presenting to you, but it's more like not so much thank you so much that I can be here. Of course, thank you for giving me an opportunity, but let me show you, like, the work that I've done. I am allowing you to be my audience, and witnessing this because I'm wanting to honor, especially with something like where it's like a true historical story like World War One. I want to honor the true life characters who have been in this, and I want to. I'm doing that for them, not so much like a panel of people who are gonna judge me or not judge me. So it's really focusing on that, and that actually helped me. Like it just brought it back to, they'll think whatever they'll think. I can't change that, force them in some way. Um, but what I know is that I've prepared for this. It means something to me, and I'm doing it for all those people that actually been there in real life and they've been through these things. And yeah, and so I just went on and I had fun, and they kind of like asked me whether I could do a different accent, and I said yep, and I just did it. And also knowing like what you're willing to do, because they then also said like, oh, would you be happy, to take on other parts, and I did say, for me, I drew the line and said, well, I wouldn't want to do extras roles just because obviously time commitment, and you have to also know how much you're willing to invest, from who you are and where you are in your life. So if you're happy to do an extras role, or it's this particular project where you're like, I'm just dying to be on this, totally, then do that. But then also don't feel that you don't have enough worth to draw a line or even turn down a role, and that's important as well, because it people will respect you for that, and respect that you know where you stand, instead of just being, oh my god, thank you so much, it's the best for me, thank you so much. Like it's like with a job interview, and that's what it is. If they can tell that you are just desperate to like get that job, it's not sexy. It's that bit of like, keep them wanting, and just give them just as much as they need, but not everything. They got to hire you if they want the rest. Yeah, I probably won't get the role. Well, I might, and then I'll have a follow-up vlog, but I walked out of that feeling that I'm happy with the work that I've done, and I think that's where you want to be. Yeah. Yeah, we'll continue going and see where we end up. Have a great week. See you soon.